Hello and welcome to another practice day at Newcastle. We're here ahead of the Club Championship Round 2 and 2 weeks ahead of AKC here in Newcastle. So all the AKC guys are here practicing. And as you can see, the sessions were mixed and there was shifters and open tags in my class. A lot of these practice sessions on Saturday actually got pretty hectic. As you can see, making contact with number 3 there and then going down the inside. Because there was just, I think, close to 40 drivers in this session. Later on in the day, they did end up splitting them, so it did get a bit less chaotic, but there you go. There's some broken parts flying and hitting my cart, and, you know, it was pretty carnage with the amount of breakdowns, contact, and overtakes, slower carts, faster carts, so you can see how it would get pretty hectic, but I'll just leave you with the clips from all the sessions. Very promising practice day in terms of pace. We jumped straight into qualifying and I had an absolute nightmare. I couldn't get a single lap together without making a big mistake, and as you're about to see, I made a major mistake that pretty much screwed up my best window for getting in a good lap time. As you can see, just bounce over the curb straight into the gravel, get dirt all over my tyres, ruin the next lap. Really able to put a very fast time at all. Actually, I went 5/10 slower than I did in practice the day before with brand new tyres and on a better track condition. So if that doesn't show you how costly those mistakes were, I don't know what will. But as you can see here, we qualified 4th, a long way off the pace, but the dude in first is going to be on another planet this whole weekend. He's just very quick. But my goal was 2nd, and I think 2nd was easily doable if I had performed like I did on practice the day before. But you live and you learn, and we go straight into Heat 1, starting in 4th. So forming up behind number 17, alongside Zach Nader, number 14. We do know we have the pace on these other two guys, not the guy in first, but on number 14 and number 17, we definitely do have the pace. We just need to get a good start and start making some moves. And pretty much no matter what, number 18 is going to run away with it. So really, it's a fight for 2nd. Here we go, the lights go out. I'm nowhere near close enough to the back of number 17, so number 2 does get the jump on me. They make a bit of contact, and I don't manage to gain any positions. I get cut off by number 17 there, so now I'm down to 5th, which isn't the greatest start. I was hoping to move up to 2nd by the end of the first lap, but yeah, down to 5th. So we definitely do have the pace on everyone in front of us, though. And as you can see, number 18, his engine actually blew up midway through the race, so first could have been possible if I got a better start. Here we go. Number 17 goes down the inside, and number 2 makes a bit of contact. He pushes him off. He goes on the grass. I'm alongside number 17, but can't get the move done on him. So there we go, up into 3rd and faster than number 17. So we're just going to see what we can do in the upcoming laps to try and make a move on him, because I do definitely have the pace on him and the leader at this point in the race. Fortunately, as we round the final corner, I've made too many mistakes in the race and couldn't stick close enough to number 17 to make the move. But not too bad, all things considered, finishing 3rd. So yeah, not too disappointing that first race. So waiting on the grid for Heat 2, starting in 4th again, and I tried to get my car started, but the battery wasn't plugged in, and I had a mini heart attack thinking that I wasn't going to make it to the grid, but luckily got it started in time and managed to catch up to the pack before the race started, and ended up taking my rightful position, starting in 4th. So starting behind number 17 once again, you can see Zach on the left there giving Logan a few bumps as we run round the final corner. I try and sit closer to number 17 this time, right on his rear. Compared to him, I get a decent start, but everyone on the left side gets a much better start, and number 2 just pushes Zach through, and then 17 gets hit by number 2 and goes for a spin, so stayed in the same position, but still not a great start. I really need to work on these starts, especially around here. So in 4th, falling behind number 2. As you can see, the 2 in front have built quite a gap, and I was faster than number 2, so I definitely needed to get a move on quick before Zach Nader disappeared off into the distance. And here we go, falling behind him. Make a lunge down the inside. He thankfully sees me, and that's the move done. One of the better moves this weekend. Managing to catch about 1.5 seconds to Zach, but he was already gone by the time I got past number 2. So there we go, end the race in 3rd. Not too bad once again. Pretty good for points, having 2 podium finishes in 2 heats, and we'll see what we can do in the other heat. Waiting on the grid for heat 3. I try and start my kart. Once again, it doesn't start. This time the battery was plugged in, so I'm not sure what the issue was here. Took a long time to start, but finally it did start, and I needed to do the same thing, catch up to the pack and pass everyone before the race started. And in this race I would be starting in 2nd because of my combined points from heat 1 and 2. So we're just going to try and see what we can do from that starting position. So rejoining in my rightful position of 2nd, alongside Zach. We've actually been alongside Zach the whole weekend, so we'll just see how it goes. Rounding out the final corner, getting in the tram lines, the lights go out. I still don't get a good getaway. Number 2 and number 14 both get a much better getaway than me, but Zach goes deep. I think he just outbroke himself there, and then number 2 goes over the curb. I'm following right behind him. I decided to be decisive and make the move before the race got too spread out, and then Logan goes down my inside. So not too bad of a start, actually, because I knew that it was going to be a matter of when he come past, not if. So I'd rather he did it on lap 1 when everyone was close together and it didn't bring anyone back into the fight, actually. So yeah, here you go. You can see some off-board shots. I'm behind Logan there, and then number 2's behind me. And I just ended up stretching that gap to number 2 by a long distance, and Logan ended up just stretching the gap to me by a long distance. So it was quite a boring race, actually. Just sat in 2nd, trying to improve my times and get closer to Logan, because the whole weekend he was just insanely quick. Here you go again. Off board, you can see the massive gap to Logan. He's nowhere to be seen. And the quite big gap behind me as well. Zach did end up getting past that number 2. So it was going to be a Top Gun 2-3 in this race. Just needed to stay focused and consistently lapping at a half-decent pace, although I wasn't really going to fall back into anyone and I wasn't really going to catch anyone. So it was more just relaxation, really, and not making any major mistakes. As you can see here, Zach's still about the same distance away from me, and Logan completely disappeared in front of me. But here we go, rounding out the final corner for the final time in this race. That's P2. So great points in that race as well. And that means I'll be starting 2nd in the final too, because that was a pre-final. So on the grid for the final, thankfully my kart actually started this time, so didn't have to stress before the race had even started. going out for the warm-up lap here, trying to get all the heat into the tyres, warm up the engine, and just get ready for the final, because I'm not sure how chaotic it's going to be. But here we go, we're formed up and moving at a very slow pace. As we round out the final corner, I get into the tram tracks and try and get a better start, but once again, the left side gets a better start than me. So Logan's already in front, Zach tries to go down my inside. I go deep, understeer a bit, and I see him down my inside, decide to switch back, which thankfully came off as he bounced over the curb, and then I go around the outside of him there, kind of squeeze him to the curb, and there we go. I've secured second position. And again, very similar to last race, I just kept stretching the gap to third place, and Logan in first just kept stretching the gap to me. So it was actually extremely boring, this final, even though I would say it was one of my best races I've done. So we jumped straight into the final lap, carrying as much speed as we can through all these corners. I was still trying to improve on my times and get closer to Logan. And I did do that throughout the weekend. At the start of the weekend, I was about 1.1 seconds off, and then at the end, 5 or 6 tenths. So lots of improvement, and that's what we like to see when we're trying to push for the bigger races soon, like AKCs and state titles, because that's what we're pushing towards. Every single race is really just aiming for that. And rounding out the final corner, not much emotion from me because it was such a boring race, just a little tiny fist pump. But there you go, second place, and actually the top point scorer across the weekend. So not half bad. So just giving Logan his props here, because what a fantastic weekend from him. His only fault, having a DNF, which was completely out of his control. So, yeah, Wade all good. Park for May was all good, thankfully. I was holding my breath for that one. But, yeah, not too bad. And we're just going to keep pushing towards the bigger races. I've got City of Melbourne titles coming up in August, and then New South Wales state titles in October. So just stay tuned for those big races, and I'll see you guys later.